I'm ready when you are. All right, colleagues. Well, today we are going to look at a new voice, passive voice verbs. Now, all of the verbs that we have encountered so far have been in the active voice, or in the active voice. And first of all, let's remind ourselves of what an active voice verb does. And Deanna, if you'll just take this eraser and if you'll just throw it to me or at me. All right, good. Now, Don, what did Deanna just do?
She threw the eraser.
All right, good. Did everybody hear that? All right, she threw the eraser. Now, who threw the eraser?
She.
All right, she did it. Now, in an active voice verb, the subject performs the action, the subject of the sentence or the clause. So Deanna, she threw the eraser. She is the subject, and she, do it one more time. All right, she threw. She was active there. All right, so that's an active voice verb. But let's talk about what passive voice verbs do. And I need a volunteer, and Lauren of Life, I need you to come up and help me.
Okay.
Now, you take this eraser, and I want you to stand, about right there. All right, now I want you to throw that eraser, or sort of do a little shot put thing, and see if you can hit me right there.
Oh, I
Now,
grazed you.
you grazed me. All right, good. Now, Michael, what did I do in what just happened?
Nothing. You didn't hit him.
Well, if it had hit you, you would have felt something.
Yeah, so I was hit by the eraser. Okay, I was hit by the eraser. All right, thanks, Lord. Now, that was an example of a passive voice verb. In the passive voice, the subject is acted upon. All right, so that's what happens in English, and that's also the way that Latin works. Active voice, subject performs the action. In the passive voice, the subject is acted upon. All right, so that's the way that it works. Questions so far about the difference between the active and passive voice?
So say what happened to you in the sentence.
Yeah, so I was hit by an eraser. So I was the subject, but I was just standing here, okay? I'm passive. All right, I didn't do anything, but the eraser hit me. So I was acted upon by the eraser. All right, so other questions about the difference between the active and passive voice?
It'd still be a passive construction if you said the eraser was thrown.
That's right, the eraser was thrown. Then the eraser was acted upon by someone or something. Yeah, that's good. All right, let's look and see what it's like in Latin. We talked about the English. Let's look at the way it works in Latin. And everyone has a sheet in front of them. And first of all, let's review the active voice. We did this way back in chapter 2, I think it was. But let's review the present, active, indicative. Present is tense, remember. Active is the voice, and indicative is the mood. So the first thing that we do when we want to build the forms for the present, active, indicative is we look at the dictionary entry. See this word D-O? It sounds just like Homer Simpson's favorite word, dough. All right, so what we do when we want to build the form is we take the dictionary entry, dough, then we lose the O, and then we're going to add some endings. So first of all, we'll chop off the O, we'll perform an O-ectomy, and we'll write down 6 Ds. Hopefully your report card will never look like this, but your chart should. All right, so first of all, write down your 6 Ds, and make sure you write them down. You'll have to do something like this on your next test, so make sure that you write this down. All right, so everybody got their 6 Ds? Everybody okay with the Ds? Rachel still D? Everybody's okay? All right, now we've got the stem. Now let's put the endings on. And we add O, AS, AT, AMUS, ATIS, and then ANT. Do, das, dot, damus, datus, dot. So O, AS, AT, AMUS, ATAS, and ANT. All right, everybody okay there? Yeah, Rachel.
I didn't read the book, so what does dope mean?
Yeah, do, I'm about to tell you. That's a great segue. We're about to get to that. But you can actually think of our word donation. When you make a donation, you give. There you go. And that's what it means. So here comes the translation. We have the forms. And so I give, you give, he, she, it gives, we give, y'all give, and they give. And keep in mind that in Latin, the end of the verb, the yellow part, tells you who done it, and the green part tells you the basic definition of the word. All right, so just the reverse of English. So, so we've done that back in chapter 2. Everybody okay with that? Annabelle? All right, now let's look at the passive voice. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to chop off the O, and then we're going to add some endings. So let's make our 6 Ds again for the passive voice. All right, so we've got our 6 Ds. And then we're going to add a new set of endings. And these endings you will find on all passive verbs. So these endings that we show you now. These are endings that show up on passive verbs. Dor, datus, datur, damur, domini, and dantur. So or, ris, ter, mer, mini, intur. Or, ris, ter, mer, mini, intur. In the present active, it was ost, mus, tis, und. In the present passive, it's or, ris, ter, mer, mini, intur. The letter in front of the ending is going to vary depending on what conjugation the verb is. First conjugation has a lot of A's in front of the endings. Second conjugation has a lot of E's in front of the endings. And so you'll see different letters in front of the ending.
Is there any rhyme or reason to which letter comes before the ending?
Yeah, it depends.
Why some have A's and some
Yeah,
don't?
that's a good question. Did everybody hear what Hewlett asked there? Yeah, he asked, is there any sort of rhyme or reason as to which letter comes before the ending? And it depends on the conjugation that the verb is. Yeah, first conjugation has A's in front of endings.
First conjugation.
Yeah, think of it like this. Every verb in Latin joins a fraternity. And there's the A fraternity, which is first conjugation verbs. There's the E fraternity, which are verbs that all have an E in front of the ending. There's an I fraternity, where you have verbs that all have an I in front of the ending. So, yeah, every Latin verb joins a fraternity or a sorority.
And you just have to memorize which one they join.
Alas, you have to memorize. Sorry about that. All right, let's look at the translations for these passive verbs. I am given, you are given, he, she, it is given, we are given, and then y'all are given, and then they are given. All right. So these are the passive translations. You can also say, I am being given, you are being given, he, she, it is being given. The Latin present passive is a little more flexible than the English present passive.
Is it just an oddity of an ambiguity in English? Sometimes we use that phrasing in a transitive sense. Like,
But I am being given.
no, I am given a gift. Is a transitive. That's just a weird thing about English.
Yeah, the Romans couldn't do that.
Yeah, they could do
Romans can do that. All right, yeah. Other questions there? All right, let's practice our pronunciation a little bit. Do, das, dat, damas, datis, dant. Dor, daris, datur, damor, damini, dantur. All right, let's say it together. Let's start with the present active indicative. Do, das, dat, damas, datis, dant. All right, let's do the passive now. Dor, daris, datur, damor, damini, dantur. All right, now we've done that. Now let's sing it. And do you all know the good old Baylor line?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's sing it. Let's sing Latin form, English translation, Latin form, English translation to the tune of the good old Baylor line. Let's see if we can do it. And let's see, when you sing the Baylor line, you have to do the whole claw thing. All right, since this is a first conjugation verb, just hold up a 1. All right, so. Do, das, dat, damas, datis, dant. I give, you give, he, she, it gives, we give, y'all give, they give. Now the hard part, the passive. Dor, daris, datur, damor, damini, dantur. I'm given, you're given, he, she, it is given. We're given, y'all are given, they're given. A first conjugation. All right. So that is the conjugation. Questions there about how to conjugate and translate the present passive. All right, now here's your summary. And the passive voice, the subject is acted upon. All right, the endings that we use in the singular, or, rist, her, mer, many, intur. Then the basic translation, most verbs that you'll encounter when you're on the streets and it's about to go down, most verbs that you'll encounter are third person singular. So the most common translation that you're going to encounter is the subject is blank. But with the be verb, you know, I am blank, you are blank, he, she, it is blank, we are blank, y'all are blank, they are blank. All right, so it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, in the active voice, the subject does the action. Okay, here's a famous statue by Bernini. If you go to Rome with us next summer, you'll actually see this statue of the Villa Borghese. But Aeneas carries Anchises. That's an active verb. All right. But Anchises is carried by Aeneas. Okay, that's a passive verb. The subject is acted upon. All right. So, questions about the active or passive?
Is this going to be on the test?
Absolutely, yeah. Always on the test.
The statute?
The statue, no, not on the test, but Italy, come. Also in 4th semester Latin, when we read Virgil's Aeneid, you're going to actually read in Latin the passage that inspired Bernini to create this statue. So, pretty cool. All right, and that's the place where I'll stop.
Okay.